sits there and taps his hands, and you're just sitting there, and he, sits there and rocks back and forth in the chair, and a bit of another murderer or whatever he is, convicted. Up to this point of a case, not in handcuffs, not in shackles, one or the other, or both, and in orange.
Hey everybody, Helen here. How's it going? Okay, guys, I haven't watched it, but I have a feeling that, yes, I know Gavin McDinn. I have a feeling it was infuriating, right? And I know a few things, and I know one of the things is that some police reports have been released, and Dali's already gone and found them. And the very first page of them is ridiculous. So we're going to have a little quick look at that first, right? Now, I expected that the hearing would have gone like all day. It went for 3 hours or so. I know that Bryan didn't allocute, as they say, and he didn't recant his plea. That would have been fun streaming. So I'm going to tell you one thing. We are not going to spend the next 3 hours listening to sad stories. We don't do that here. I can't stand sentencing hearings purely for that reason. It's not because I have anything against victim impact statements. Like, that's their time. It's just, I can't handle it. Can't handle it. Sorry, that's the time. It's cool. Everyone else can go and feel sad on other channels, but no, not doing that here. We might skip through a few highlights. Some people have told me that the Gonçalves daughter said some interesting things, so we might have a bit of a look at that. I want to see the actual sentencing portion, but the other thing I want to watch, because I started to have a little bit of a look, there's a presser afterwards, and I believe the journalists started to ask some actual good questions of the prosecutors. Actual good questions, like, why didn't you get Mr. Kohberger to give you information as part of the plea deal? Very good question. Like Mr. Trump came along and said he should have to explain. Well, he doesn't have to explain, but there should have been something. I want something. I've been saying since the plea deal came along that I don't believe he did it until I see more evidence, right? And if I see more evidence, then sure, no problem. But just him going yes to a bunch of pre-written questions or pre-written statements that do not provide any evidence of him actually being there is not enough for me. It's not closure, right? And I'm not one of the victims, but if I were one of the victims, I think I would really want to know. So yeah, I think that the questions that are coming up in the press conference may have been kind of good, and I want to watch that. So, thank you, Melissa. I've been doing a few things to be poofing it up a little bit. So we'll get Dali in and we'll say hi to everybody, and then we'll get going. Hey, how's it going? They can't make him talk. Maybe they can't make him talk after the plea, but it should have been a condition of making the plea. Yes, exactly, right. And My theory is, and this is not a popular theory, but my theory is he's got nothing to say. He's got no more information. So, of course, they're not going to get him to speak because they know he's not the right guy, right? But I could be wrong. He could be the right guy, right? He could be the right guy. But if he is the right guy, why not get him to give more information? Hello? Why not? So I want to see what Bill Thompson has to say to those questions. Yeah. Beautiful Waterfall says, as they explained, he wouldn't have told the truth anyway, so what's the point? Where's the murder weapon?
Okay, he threw it in a river. What river? Okay, maybe at that point you can't get it back, but they could come up with questions that they don't have the answer to. How is his car so clean? What did he do in his car? There are things they could ask to try to ascertain the truth that only he would know, and then verify it that way.
I feel like that's a little too easy to just say, oh, well, he wouldn't tell the truth anyway, so why? Why not? Why? So, sorry, your mic's dropping out.
He just sounds like somebody debating politics on Twitter. Just always not going to tell
Bill Thompson.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen him answer the questions yet, so we'll get to that. Okay, so Mavka, how are you? Sean, no spoilers. Clive Macton, it's so nice to have you here, dude. Angela, hello, love. Hello. And I just, hi, beautiful waterfall. How's it going? Hi, Irish. How are you, mate? Was it me who found out about them first? Who? What are you talking about? Scott's here. Scott is here. How are you? Sandra, how are you? Oh, you're so sweet. And Freezak. Tracy Burden is here. Hey, love. How are you? And V, nice to have you here, love. Melissa Simok, hey, sweetheart. And David, Olivia tried to get him to answer some questions. Did she now? And by the way, Olivia Gonsalves, her name is spelled, it's like alive, A-L-I-V-E-A. It's a really odd spelling. Really odd. Hang on, what? It's not just a river. It's a confluence of two rivers. They're never finding that note. Hang on. So, wait a minute. Did they actually say that he said it was in a river?
No. I'm assuming that's where they assume he dumped it.
Ah, okay. Right, sweet. Things only the killer would know and not Delphi style like the white van. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, give us something. Anything. Hey, Charlotte. Joining for a bit, just for company, need some like-minded people after today. Well, you're very welcome to join us. Very welcome to join us. And I didn't write that. Can you stop typing in my chat?
I said that.
Oh.
I said right after that.
It's a StreamYard glitch, guys. When Dali types in StreamYard, it comes up as me. I laughed at my sister. Sorry, Hella. You can call me a basic narcissist. Narcissist. Oh, okay. So, guys, also today, all of the body language experts everywhere are coming out. So we're going to have a bit of fun in chat, and us today, we're going to have so much fun because his eyes tell a story, don't they? He's so vacant. He's stone cold. Yeah, Olivia. To me, it looks like alive, but sure, spell it how you like. She wasn't asking him questions, she was mocking him. Okay. Okay, so yeah, before we start, Dali.
Yes.
Okay, so apparently this stuff has been put up on the City of Moscow website that they have begun. They put up because they want to avoid like a barrage of public records requests. And these are some police
This
report?
was the first one I pulled up, and I think Scott also found it as well. He posted it in Discord at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's a supplemental narrative. So
Okay. So the very first thing that Dali pulled up is some interaction between a report from someone in jail.
yes,
Right.
who talked to
Yeah,
another
so-
inmate during
Yes.
transport.
So like a snitchy kind of thing.
Yeah.
All
And
right, wanna read it?
So
You ready?
on August 21st, 2024, I received an email from Deputy Prosecutor Ashley Jennings containing a link to a recent inmate transport wherein one inmate mentioned Kohberger. I accessed the secure link and watched the video. The male inmate, hereafter referred to as Black, was being transported to a southern Idaho and was talking to a female
Who's
inmate, Mrs. Black. So a male inmate is talking to a female inmate. They don't have their names. Those are redacted. During their conversation, so I'm going to refer to them actually just as male and female. During their conversation, male stated he was housed in max security, to which female replied, "Oh, you were in there with Kohberger?" Male stated he was. Female asked, "How is he?" Male stated, "A fucking weirdo." Oh my God.
No.
Oh, that's it. Case closed. Now I know why he pled guilty.
Case closed. He's a fucking
Male
weirdo.
Continue to say if he wasn't worried about further legal repercussions, he would have physically assaulted Kohberger.
Okay, hang on. Are we talking like a hardened criminal here saying the words legal repercussions?
I'm assuming that's Ashley Jennings' legalese to describe the guy just didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
But for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Learn to tell a story, sweetie. Okay. I mean, come on, this is gold, princess. Can't you punch it up a little bit? Come on, Ash. All right. So he would have physically assaulted Kohberger. She, the female, then asked male if Kohberger did it, referencing the homicides. Male affirmed this statement and added he had a pretty good judgment of people and that his eyes tell a story.
Oh!
This was the extent of the conversation about Kohberger's eyes.
So D says, yeah, he done it because he's a weirdo and because he could see it in his eyes. Okay, then case closed. What the fuck is this? Why did she even type this shit up?
I guess she has to include it for discovery reasons. But it was, and I found another one shortly after that about, you want me to do that one too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. On Monday, September 16th, 2024, I spoke to blank. Blank was an inmate at the Latah County Jail at the time and had been housed next to Kohberger since August of 2024 until Kohberger's transport to Ada County on September 15th. I was made aware by Detective Vargas that he spoke about Kohberger while on a phone call with dun, 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 his mother.
Oh no.
Are you making friends with that nice Kohberger boy, Jimmy? Are you behaving? Is that Kohberger boy a bad influence on you? You need to behave yourself. I worry about you in that place, little Jimmy. I'm doing okay, Mama. So I began by these are so stupid. I'm sorry. I began by asking what he thought of Kohberger having had to live next to him. He told me Kohberger was highly intelligent, probably a narcissist.
Narcissist.
And polite for the most part. He told me Kohberger would often question him. Oh, of course, about his past criminal offenses and why he was in the maximum security wing of the jail. Oh, maybe Kohberger wanted to be a prison snitch.
Maybe. Well, yeah. Well, Steve Gosabe said something about him being like an FBI agent or something
Yeah.
just recently.
I asked him what he thought of Kohberger's intelligence. Are you trying to date him? He stated Kohberger was the smartest person he had encountered while in confinement. Oh, that's
Well,
sweet.
But you're in confinement. How many people do you encounter?
Well, you're probably not in the brain trust ward.
No.
He told me Kohberger quickly became annoying because of some of his habits. He told me Kohberger would wash his hands dozens of times each day, probably trying to get the blood off his hands,
Well,
and
probably,
would spend.
But he's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
But go on.
And he would spend 45 minutes to an hour in the shower. I asked if Kohberger slept at night. How could he? He told me Kohberger would be awake almost all night, a guilty conscience, and would only take a nap during the day. He said he could hear Kohberger moving around all night, which also annoyed him. I asked him if Kohberger ever lost his temper. He told me on one occasion Kohberger was video chatting with his mother. Oh, he's a mama's boy. Which he said he did for hours each day. Aw. While he was watching sports. He said, "You suck," to one of the players on the team. At which point Kohberger immediately got up and put his face to the bars and asked if he was talking about him or his mother. Kohberger defended his mother's honor. He said this was
Get my mom's name out of your damn mouth.
He said this was the only time Kohberger lost his temper, when he thought I insulted his mother.
Wow.
I asked him if Kohberger had mentioned anything about the crimes he was charged with. He said Kohberger did not mention his alleged offenses at all. He also told me Kohberger was excited to move to Ada County. He stated he had served time at Ada County and noted he did not think Kohberger would like to be there. I thanked him for speaking with moi and advised him to notify the Latah County detention deputies if he remembered anything else he wished to tell me.
He was excited to move to Ada County.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so far he hasn't said anything to either of these people about anything.
No.
I can't wait to get into more of this. But the thing is, I don't. If he had said anything to anybody, I think that we would know already.
Oh yeah, I am guessing this is an educated guess. They do document every single interaction and write a report on every little thing. And that stuff is turned over to the defense as well. Has to be.
Yeah.
So where are these docs from? Good question. It's from very slowly. They are releasing the information, all the
Why am I there?
Oh crap! Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I forgot I was sharing screen. Oh, good. That could have been awkward. Just kidding. What was I saying? Oh, so it was the Moscow website they set up for all the documents, and there'll be a lot more on there.
Yeah, so that's just come out today, like in the last couple hours. But we will do another stream and like a reading of more, right? That's we just find it quite unbelievable. Like the very first thing that was on the first document was those jailhouse confessions.
It was kind of not just
things.
Report. It was kind of silly.
It's very silly. All right. So as I said, we're not watching the whole thing. We're just going to skip around a little bit and see some of the more interesting parts. But I really want to get to the presser. So let's see.
Jennings, Mr. Hurwitz, Mr. Nye, and Ms. Allen.
First
This
name
is
Bill.
the time set for sentencing in this case. The defendant previously entered a plea of guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. In exchange, the parties stipulated to recommend a sentence consisting of, on burglary, 10 years fixed, on each of the 4 counts of first-degree murder, life fixed.
Now, I believe
the parties waived a pre-sentence investigation. To my understanding, neither party submitted a sentencing memorandum or other materials for the court. The court is familiar with the file and the evidence submitted previously by the parties as it has reviewed them throughout the case and in anticipation of trial. Is there any legal cause why the sentence should not be imposed at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Does the state, before impact statements and arguments, wish to present evidence today?
Your Honor, the state does not intend to present evidence in a documentary sense. We have provided the court through the clerk with photographs that we would like to use during the course of our sentencing argument.
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
But no testimony other than impact statements?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So with that, let's start with then impact statements.
Ms. Jennings will be introducing.
And my understanding, just so I'm clear, I indicated through the trial court administrator that we need to see if any of the victims wish to have the camera not running and audio only. And my understanding is all of them indicated they are fine with the video. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
All right, very well. Go ahead, Ms. Jennings.
Your Honor, the first, and we're taking these in the order, victim impact statements in the order that the charges were listed in the indictment. The first charge being burglary. So we will have Bethany Funka's statement, and she has asked that her friend Emily Allant read that statement.
All right, any objection to that?
No objection.
All right, very well.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be speaking on behalf of Bethany, and so, yeah, here it reads. My name is Bethany Funk, and I was roommates with Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. I not only lost some of my best friends, but I also lost a sister. Never in a million years would I have thought that something like this would have happened to my closest friends. I thought that we were going to wake up and go upstairs, see them, and tell them how they had scared us, and that.
Sorry, what?
Which ones did you want to hear?
Okay, so this is like this lady's reading Bethany's statement.
Okay.
And I believe that she actually reads out some stuff that Bethany talks about she did that morning.
Okay.
So I do want to see a little bit of this.
They were going to tease us about how we are constantly scaredy cats and make jokes about it as we would go to Taco Bell like always. But sadly, that is not what happened and what turned out to be my worst nightmare. When I first woke up that morning, I had no idea what happened. I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache. So I called my dad, who was a dentist, and he asked what I should do. He told me to take Advil, so I did, and I went back to sleep. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. If I had known, I of course would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much regret and guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away, even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door.
What? Dylan, what?
I was so frantic that morning and scared to death, not knowing what had happened.
Huh? Was
And
Dylan
when I
there?
made the 911 call, I couldn't even get out the words. And from then on, I don't remember a thing. It was like my brain wiped that whole memory. That was the worst day of my life. And I know it always will be. While I was still in shock, trying to process the fact that my friends were truly gone, I had been attacked by the public. I was grieving, numb, and unsure of what had happened was even real. And at the same time, I was getting flooded with death threats and hateful messages from people who did not know me at all or know the dynamic of our friendship. Social media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends. I hated and still hate that they're gone, but for some reason, I am still here and I got to live. I still think about this every day. Why me? Why did I get to live and not them? For the longest time, I could not even look at their families without feeling sick with guilt. I did not know what to say or what to do. I was terrified that my presence just made their pain worse. And I was still here when their kid, their siblings and their friends, their loved ones should have been here instead. After everything happened, I was afraid to go into my own backyard or alone in my house. I was scared that the person who did this would come for me next. I was always scared that the media would try to catch me at any moment of any day. Even when I was just walking around my house, I made my parents close all the blinds during the day so no one could see me even in the slightest chance. I barely left the house, and when I did, I made sure I was never alone. I slept in my parents' room for almost a year. I made them double lock every door, set an alarm, and still check everywhere in the room just in case someone was hiding. And I still check my room every night before, and I double lock it. I have not slept through a single night since this happened. I constantly wake up in panics, terrified. Someone is breaking in, or someone is here to hurt me, or I'm about to lose someone else that I love. The fear never really leaves. For a long time, I could barely get out of bed, but one day I realized I have to live for them. They did not get the chance to keep living, but I do, and I will not take that for granted. So now every day I remind myself to live for them, and everything I do it with them in mind. I am still scared to go out in public, but I force myself to do things because I know that they would want me to keep living my life to the fullest. I am beyond blessed to still be here, and I refuse to take that for granted when they did not get a chance. Our house was not just a house, it was a home. It was where we laughed till we couldn't breathe, make meals, did crafts, binge watch reality shows, played games, and spent lazy days on the couch. It was movie nights, wine nights, morning debriefs, pranks, hot chocolate, cookies, and warmth. I will cherish those memories forever, and I will not let what happened erase how special our home was or how much those memories meant to me. Now, I would like to share some bits and pieces of who they were.
Okay. So I don't have any problem with Bethany and I know people are going to come at me for this. I don't really have any problem with Dylan either. Right? And I never have. I've never come after either of them. I don't think they're involved.
No.
I have wondered why it took so long to call 911, but I don't think they're involved. I don't. I think it's possible there may have been drugs in the house or something like that, and they may have been scared and that sort of thing. But it's not for me. It's just not about it. This has never been about alternate perpetrators. It's been about whether or not there's been enough evidence against Bryan, because it's Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. And I see what she's saying. I get that it must have been awful to have people making up stories about her, about I can't believe there were death threats against her. I mean, I believe it. I'm not saying that I don't think that it happened, but that's terrible. That's shocking. So I know the things that have been said about Dylan especially, but Bethany too, and I don't support any of that rubbish. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. All right, so let's go forth to the part with Olivia, shall we? And I know what she looks like, so I'm just gonna flick forward here. Where are we? Let's keep going. I think it was a fair way in. No, not that far. Ethan.
I think it was after the podium was turned.
So the podium was turned. Oh, hang on. So that's okay. So that's Kaylee. So it has to be.
Yeah, Steve, the Goncalves turned the podium to face Bryan.
Okay, so hang on.
And you.
Oh, that's Steve there,
She
right?
was a strong, kind, fun, loving, caring person, and she will greatly be missed by all her family and evil. And when you saw my granddaughter and her friends, their light, because they have such a light, you couldn't stand.
Oh, the podium got turned back after the douche moved it. Okay, thank you.
Hang on. So was it before the
And evil.
If you give me the link,
It's
I
not
can
right that
find
you
it.
have received life.
what? Sorry.
Give me the link, I
No,
can
you're
find
a
it.
joke in this courtroom. I wish I
Oh, this is it, I think.
What is it?
I think
could have
this
crowned. I wish I could crown you with a jester hat to complete your orange jumpsuit clown look.
Oh,
A dead killer doesn't kill again. So while I'm disappointed the
can't we
firing
see
squad
her?
won't get to take their shots
Oh, no,
at you,
that's Christy.
I'm confident that the men in prison will have their way with you in more ways than one. You will finally get what you wanted. Physical touch.
What?
back
That's
up
probably not how you were
a little
expecting
bit.
What? What? What's going on?
David says to back up. So, yes, it's a lectern. Okay.
That's Christy
Yes, okay.
talking.
Okay, everyone. Yes, I said podium. It's a lectern. Thank you, guys.
Stop the podium.
Good Lord.
So Christy Gonsalves seems to be wishing him to be raped in prison.
Dolly learned
Next
nothing
is Christy
since Jan
Gonsalves,
said.
Kaylee Gonsalves' mother.
Nice. So hang on, can I just ask, was Olivia after Christy, the mum, or before?
Let me look.
Thank you, Your Honor. I never imagined having to speak to someone so devoid of humanity. For a long time, I didn't think I'd find the words low enough to meet you where you are. But now I realize this isn't about you.
Oh, so she must have been
It's
before.
about what you've done to me.
Hang on, wait.
What
all
did
right.
you bring into the house?
Oh, there
with
she
you?
is.
Say to them, if I was
There
given
she is. There she is.
I'll leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to the pen. That will be today or tomorrow.
Or maybe
Okay.
next week.
God bless all the men and women that worked on
There we
this
go.
case
All right,
and all the hard work that
we're
you
back
guys
on
did.
track now.
You guys
Or maybe the
allowed
week
us
after that
to
if it's a
breathe and allowed us to
holiday.
get through this. The amount of work that you guys put together and the way that you guys put it together was beautiful. There was hard times
Oh,
to be
Wendy.
expected. But thank you all.
Thank you.
And God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat, Wendy. That's so sweet of you.
Your Honor, next
was
is
a lot more mellow.
Stephen Gonsalves, Kaylee's brother.
You left it to the ladies.
He really did. Oh, yeah. Now they got to move the
Stephen's
lectern
actually going to
back.
pass. I'm going to go. Okay. Olivia Gonsalves, Kaylee's sister.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Olivia, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonsalves, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you.
His mother loved him.
If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them. And not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across. What would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m.
Got to get ready for this part.
Angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down. And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are.
I'm trying to download the rap
psychopath,
background
murderer.
for this right now.
I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper?
What?
Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows?
What?
Why
BK's a
November
rapper?
13th?
Nice.
Did you truly?
What's she talking about?
Wait, BK's a rapper? Seriously? I gotta get his soundtrack.
What's she
Are
talking about?
you saying my boy BK can lay down a beat?
And also, what's this about the survey? When did he even make a survey?
I have to wear this. Okay. Sorry guys, forgot to put this on earlier.
Where's she?
Yeah, he has
getting
killer rhymes. Oh yeah, you did tell me that. I forgot. Damn it.
Where's
She's
she
a white
getting
girl.
this from?
She's a white girl. What does she know about rap?
I legit. Where's she getting this from? Right?
I don't know.
Like,
Him
are
being
we
a rapper
talking
is
about stuff from
kind of the
his
first.
like teenage years or something? Or
I'm just saying, him being a rapper kind of is the first sus thing, I really kind of putting me in the guilty camp.
The survey he did for school, he sent to murderers in prison. Is that in Discovery? He did rats when he was a teenager.
Well, yeah,
Okay. Helen needs to watch the
Reddit
Prime
survey.
documentary. I'm not watching the Prime documentary. No. Like, I don't believe a word of that shit. It's all fan fiction. Like, there may be some random truths interspersed between dramatic music and just crap. Right? Like, seriously, how do they know? How do they know?
How'd they start focusing on him? That was the 23andMe or whatever DNA from his parents. Thought we knew that in the beginning.
Yeah, it all came from IgG. Yeah. So no, I'm not watching any Prime documentary. Certainly not now, anyway. The reason I'm not watching it right now is because it shouldn't have been out right now. Right now should have been time for there to be a jury impaneled, and it is absolutely egregious timing to have had that information out when it could have tainted the jury.
You think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house
Yeah, where
with
is
you?
it?
What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee?
Wait,
What
second
were
weapon?
Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the bear cat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe.
Narcissist. Oh.
You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You worked so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you allowed to applaud in a courtroom?
No.
Okay.
No. Unless you're in. There's only one other judge I've seen that happen during sentencing, and she's no longer a judge.
Oh, that's right. She's no longer a judge.
Yeah. I mean, did the judge go and hug the prosecutors too after? I mean, good Lord.
He probably did.
Probably.
Next is Christy Gonzalez, Kaylee Gonzalez's mother.
I do need to hear this.
Thank you, Your Honor. I never imagined having to speak to someone so devoid of humanity. For a long time, I didn't think I'd find the words low enough to meet you where you are. But now I realize this isn't about you. It's about what you've done to me, and I need you to hear it. When you murdered my daughter.
Just before we go, Sarah, go to the beginning of the stream, Sarah. We read out some of the docs. They're quite silly.
The ones we found so far.
Well, the very first part of the very first doc is quite silly. Thank you for sharing them. Much appreciated. And thank you for all your hard work throughout this. And I'm sure it's going to continue. There's going to be so many more documents yet. And yeah, have a good sleep. Love you much.
Kaylee J. Gonzalez, you didn't just take her life. You shattered others. You attacked what you could never be, and in doing so, you left a trail of devastation far beyond that house. You stole my peace. You've altered my every waking moment, every sleepless night, the way I view the world, people, safety, trust. It's all been changed by your cruelty. I no longer recognize parts of myself. Joy is harder to find. Laughter feels foreign. The world moves forward, but I'm suspended in a place of sorrow and rage. You've taken from me something that can never be restored. The grief sits with me every day, some days quietly, and other days so loud it drowns out everything else. The emotional toll you've inflicted on me is immeasurable. I live with a constant ache, with birthdays that are now memorials, with holidays that feel hollow, with empty chairs that scream louder than words ever could. I am forever changed. But for you, as a person working on a PhD in criminal justice, you really didn't think this one through. You're not that good. In fact, you're not that good at anything. You couldn't secure a job. You couldn't get along with others. You couldn't even get a female to look in your direction. All because
that's
you
not
were
true.
pathetic.
That's not true. Holly did.
Ella did.
You're a joke in this courtroom. I wish I could crown you with a jester hat to complete your orange jumpsuit clown look. A dead killer doesn't kill again. So while I'm disappointed the firing squad won't get to take their shots at you, I'm confident that the men in prison will have their way with you in more ways than one. You will finally get what you wanted, physical touch.
Yuck.
Just probably not how you were expecting it. See, you haven't beat the system. You've simply entered a new one.
That's out of order. Surely.
You think, but
the rules are cruel and the consequences will never end. You are entering a place where no one will care who you are and no one will ever respect you. You will be forgotten, discarded, used, and erased. You will always be remembered as a loser, an absolute failure. And when those prison doors slam shut behind you, I hope that sound echoes in your heart for the rest of your meaningless days. I hope it reminds you of what we all already know. You're nothing. May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho, where your fellow inmates are anxiously awaiting your arrival. But it's okay, because they're there to help you. Hell will be waiting. Quick message from our youngest daughter. Aubrey wanted to say, you may have received A's in high school and college, but you're going to be getting big D's in prison.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is coming from a woman and her family who have been running a Facebook page for the last 2 years that has been openly calling for him to receive prison justice. And also there's been threats against Ann Taylor's life as well on there. Right? So, sorry, an eye for an eye is from thousands of years ago. So I just, seriously, two wrongs do not make a right. They just don't. They just don't. And I can't, my sympathies run out for people who just want to hurt others because they feel hurt. And I mean physically hurt others. I can't have any sympathy for that. I cannot support that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Now, Murph, I need to address something. Hi, mate. During the presses after, they said the jail will not be releasing third-party messages, convos, because they don't do that, which means Annie was wrong or lied. How is that Annie's responsibility? How is it Annie's decision or responsibility, or how would she have possibly known that the jail will not be releasing third-party messages or convos? Right? Why are you blaming her? Well, that's up to that's your opinion, Mavka. She may be, she may not be, right? But I don't see why that's on her.
Oh, she said they were going to, and for us to wait. So, she could have just been wrong.
How was she to know? Right? Why are we putting it on her that they've decided to do that?
I mean, we get the reports.
Did she make that policy? Come on now. Come on now. Too much finger pointing going on.
It's okay, Hella.
It just
calm blue ocean.
It just like why call people liars all the time? Give people the benefit of the goddamn doubt. All right, so
and we hope
I want to jump over to the press conference now because the questions in it are quite good. We're talking about Annie. Twiz gaslit nobody, right? I know Twiz very well, and if he believes something, then if he says something, that means he believes it, right? I trust him as much as I trust you, Mav.
Piece in knowing that Bryan Kohberger is being held responsible and accountable for his heinous actions. The FBI is proud to have supported the Moscow Police Department in the state of Idaho.
Oh, please.
With the investigation and prosecution of this case.
All right. We want
countless hours have gone into this investigation.
Oh, yes.
The FBI.
Oh, look, there's
location layout, we don't know, but that's, to the best of my knowledge, that's what that statement likely led to.
During Kaylee got their KHQ, there was a social media account that surfaced that has speculation that it was Bryan Kohberger. Can you talk at all about the Papa Roger potential connection, if any?
Right. There was no connection. There wasn't at all. And we looked into every bit of it. We took a deep dive into it. We researched it.
It wasn't him?
It was not. It was not. Thank you. We can cut that off.
Is it possible that there was a second order weapon used? Not just the knife?
I'm gonna say this, right? So, mate, I'm not even defending her. I'm just saying that there's no point pointing fingers and assuming that someone's a liar, right? I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. She might not have been, but we don't know one way or another. So there's just no point in being all like, well, she definitely lied. We don't know. She could have been telling the truth. Yeah, we don't have evidence either way. So whilst we have doubt, we have doubt. Yeah. So I prefer to be somebody who goes, I hope that she was being truthful. Until I know otherwise. Yeah. That's all. That's all, man.
Is it possible? All the evidence shows and tells us that he used a knife, a K-bar knife, and that's a weapon we believe was used to commit all the murders.
Here.
Sounded like the Gonzalez family said that there was a second weapon that used on Haley Gonzalez. Can you confirm that?
Oh, this is Santa's elf. I see now.
Out of respect for the families, that's something that you'll have to get from them. If they wish to share that with you, it'd probably be through them, not through us.
Little manly.
And one more question. You said that it seemed like he chose that house. There's no clues as to why he chose
The funny thing is he's also on a box that's about a foot tall.
After working in Moscow for several years as Chief Dollinger.
I wish I was running this. I draw a little green hat on him.
Many people at all hours of the night when college is in session. So what Darren and I have surmised is that perhaps it's the old hiding in plain sight. There's lots of people around. There's lots of vehicles around at all hours. It's not isolated where you'd be noticed. So that's where that comment comes from.
It does. And though it doesn't make sense, and it's if you're in that neighborhood at all, it's a very complicated neighborhood. It's very closed in. But at the same time, there's everything from college kids to adults that live there, people that have full-time jobs, part-time jobs. So
Stop moving.
Any
God.
one of us could come and go.
Camera
and
guy's
fit
drunk.
in there. So
Right here. DA Thompson, during the plea hearing, and then again today, it seemed like
Ho, ho, ho.
you were either putting up photographs or mentioning the victim's names. I'm just wondering about the emotional toll, and I have one other question.
Yeah, you're right. My voice was quivering. Y'all were in
I'm
there.
running for AG
There's
next
a lot
year.
of powerful emotion. The losses are almost indescribable. And maybe my filters aren't as good as they might have been 45 years ago when I started in this business. But I think you also saw that even Judge Hippler was affected and impacted by this. There is no easy way to remain stiff-lipped and dry-eyed through this kind of tragedy. There just simply isn't.
I'm sure you're not aware of this yet, but there was a photograph. They zoomed in on a picture that Bryan Kohberger had on the defense counsel table. It was an image of a black heart. I don't know if you've heard this or if you've seen the image. Hearing this.
He was riding it to hella, guys.
First I've heard of it. There is something I need to say, though, real quick. This is a product of, I'm sure, I'm getting old in my failed memory. But there's one other person I need to recognize, and this is very important to us because this was a key person that was going to take us through trial. And that's Josh Hurwitz, the former United States Attorney for the District of Idaho who left office and voluntarily joined our office as special deputy to help us. My apologies for the oversight as I wasn't reading my notes correctly. But thank you for that little interlude. Chief?
I guess my question is for Mr. Thompson, since you're still up there. Anjanette Levy with Law and Crime. You said that it was your decision to accept this plea agreement. It brings finality. He will die in prison. But Corporal Payne just said they don't know who the target was and why he targeted this house. Was there a reason why, as part of the plea agreement, you didn't require Ann Taylor to have her client sit down at all and to answer some of these questions?
What?
When I was listening, I only listened to a couple questions, and this was the one that I thought, wow, that's a really, really good question. I had no idea that was Anjanette. Now I can, now that I listen to it, it's her voice. And yeah, that is a really good question.
I might have been having a little chats with Anjanette in the background.
Yes.
Not today, because I mean I've been asleep. But Anjanette is actually like open to theories, and she's interested in why people think that people are questioning whether he is actually guilty. And she wants to ask questions. So.
I think that Judge Hippler addressed that today very, very well. Of course, Judge Hippler addresses everything very well, we found.
Oh, I'm sure you
God.
that, yeah.
Get his dick out of your mouth.
The law does not give the court or us the power to require a specific factual allocution. And just let me finish. And we recognize that. We recognize that we could have said, well, in order for us to move forward, we want a factual allocution. But I have to be perfectly candid. I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be the truth. I don't believe that there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would be anything other than self-serving. And I don't believe there's anything that would come out of his mouth that would not further victimize the families. And so that just simply wasn't a factor.
Dude, nothing has come out of his mouth, right? That we know about anyway. If something's come out of his mouth, can we find out about it, please? Right?
Well, apparently he gets very defensive when he thinks you're insulting his mother.
Yes. Right? But I don't buy all this, that's just giving him more limelight garbage, right? If he said something to make you all believe that everything he says is not credible, then show us. But we haven't heard it. We haven't seen it. So isn't it all public record? Right? Like, isn't this all available with transparency? The rules in America make it that everyone's supposed to be able to see it all. Yeah. So therefore, if his words are not able to be believed, what makes you think that? Why should we just trust you to tell us that there's nothing that he would say that could possibly be true? So we're just taking your word for it. Right? This is a cop-out. This sounds like a complete cop-out.
We made our decision based on our assessment of law and the facts.
You made the
we made our decision based on being able to obtain accountability and certainty, not just for the victims' families, but for the communities and for the state. And that's where our obligations go. In the end, and the old Harry Truman thing, the buck stops on my desk. Well, that's what I got when I was elected prosecutor 33 years ago. I never dreamed it would involve something like this, but we don't shirk our responsibilities just because it got big and nasty.
Thank you. Corporal Payne and Lieutenant Robertson.
Yeah, and Jacqueline, you're right. Like, they keep talking about how he wants attention and don't give him attention, and that he thought he was smarter than everybody else, etc. You're right. He hasn't once tried to milk the public for attention. Not once.
He's also, I don't know, the thing that's just really weird that I have a hard time reconciling is he's very polite to the judge and very respectful of when once or twice he has talked in court. It's hard to reconcile that with somebody. I don't understand why somebody who's capable of murdering 4 people would then just be so meek.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of these things that people say about him just don't add up to the person we've seen, right? Except for the whole looking creepy, which is explained by his autism. So just give us the goods, dude. Like, why not? Why can't we just see it? I actually really hope that there's some interrogation video or something that shows that he's a big liar, right? It shows that he has this murderous nature about him, because right now nothing's adding up.
I see you paint that the chicken family told me that you called them every night during that nearly 7-week manhunt, even though you didn't have to. And I just think that that goes to show the person. That being said, I'm curious as to where you think or believe the murder weapon is, where you think or believe clothes Kohberger was wearing that night are, and how do you think he avoided forensics?
Well, I can just tell you, and forgive us if we go back and forth, it's just kind of how we roll. But there is no evidence that we found that would lead us to any specific, even general location as to where the murder weapon or the clothes have been. And we searched. I mean, the FBI, again, to their credit, we had folks doing soil samples and so all sorts of things to try to come up with somewhere to start searching for these things, and we just never found it.
We'll find it right after the Epstein list
piece. I'll let Darren speak to.
Yeah, and on the weapon, it wasn't a lack of trying. Everywhere that we had evidence of where he went, based upon phone records, based upon the evidence that we had gathered, we searched that. We went there. We did searches on the ground, in the water. We did searches. We sent soil samples to try to figure out maybe where a shovel had been used. So we searched everywhere that we possibly could. But the reality is we're looking for a singular small, it's not that small, but K-bar knife, and that's it. So it's endless of where it could have been, and we just were not able to find it. So
what about the clothes and visibility to avoid forensics at the scene, in a murder scene where we now know Kohberger himself was stabbed 34 times and another victim was stabbed more than.
Right. So the reality is that somebody can carry this out and still not get covered in blood. That's the reality of it, and this does happen, and there's plenty of studies of that. And we've had some of the world's experts that we've asked those same questions, because we've struggled with that. Why do we not find more here and there? And the reality was, if somebody has the training, if somebody has thought about it, if somebody wears the right type of clothing, that could be the outcome, and that's what we were left with.
Person who's a germaphobe and OCD.
Thompson, did you do psychological testing on Bryan Kohberger? Did that weigh into your decision to have a plea deal? And stabbings, multiple stabbings are very personal. How did you assess that mode of murder?
I can tell you that psychological testing was done, Mr. Kohberger. The results of that do not rise to a defense to his conduct under Idaho law. The results of the various testing, most of it done by the defense or on behalf of the defense, it's also sealed by court order. So I can't speak to any specifics, but I can tell you, yes, psychological testing was done. I can also tell you that no, psychological testing or any potential psychological condition, Mr. Kohberger, that did not play a role in our decision.
Bill, does it have any bearing on where he will be placed or housed?
Where Mr. Kohberger, where the defendant is going to be housed, is going to be up to the Idaho Department of Correction. And that could very well change over time. And the reality is we will know about it after it happens.
And I'm going to check my list twice. He's going to get cold tonight.
Did he say anything that was
Doesn't matter if you've been bad or good.
Why he did this?
Yeah, we did monitor it, both while he was housed in Latah County, and then once he was moved down to Ada County. We have hundreds, thousands of hours of monitoring that was done, but there was nothing of evidentiary value that was gained from any of it.
Will you be releasing those conversations?
It's my understanding that the jail will not be releasing things that involve personal conversations with third parties. That ultimately would be a decision because the recordings are in possession of the two correctional facilities or detention facilities. But I'm pretty certain the Latah County Sheriff's Office policy does not allow for that. And I would guess Ada County is similar. You can ask them.
Back here.
Thank you. Greg Fisher with CBS News 48 Hours. Was there any evidence that Kohberger was following the social media of any of the victims?
No, admit it.
So Trust us, we wanted that to be the case. We've looked for a link and we have not found one. Not one.
Yeah, through the entire investigation, I think that's something that we need, that you want, is to help to understand this and say, well, what's the connection? What was the link? And so we had every resource possible, and we worked that tirelessly, both from everything from his side, but all the victims and all the members of the House from their side. So we have never, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
Hang on, let's just listen to that again, shall we?
And we worked that tirelessly, both from every,
not one.
Yeah, through the entire investigation. I think that's something that we need, that you want, is to help to understand this and say, well, what's the connection? What was the link? And so we had every resource possible, and we worked that tirelessly, both from everything from his side, but all the victims and all the members of the House from their side. So we have never, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
Or 2 surviving roommates. That's the concern.
Digital, my questions for the investigator.
So
you guys are going through this case.
All that stuff that Olivia was saying about you stalking, studying my sisters, that was all crap. That was all crap.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm sure they want to believe that, and it's just nothing. I mean, maybe he did.
No, he didn't.
Well,
he just said that they used every resource
no, I understand.
they had.
I mean, unless they missed it somehow, but it just.
Well, they sure missed a lot.
Yeah.
Right? If he really did this, they missed a lot, didn't they? They missed a fuckload, and they still managed to get him to take a plea. Right? What is going on here? There's so much missing.
Okay.
There is
he did wipe his computer systems using software. Oh.
Who said they do say that? Okay. All right. Well, let's
wait. Hillary Clinton or Bryan?
Don't you smile off and hello, darling. Oh, Silent G's here for me. Hello, Silent G, mate. How are you?
It's about his background, his education, his training. You said earlier you couldn't identify a reason the house was targeted. Do you have a motive?
We don't.
Nope.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. This question's for Anthony Gallagher, actually. I remember when Anthony was a beat cop, assigned to talk to us at the very beginning when all of this happened, and now you're running the show. So I wanted to ask, as a community member, how did this case shape and change how your police response?
It's changed everyone involved. How could it not? It was a devastating tragedy to our community, and our police department is a part of that community, and it was very difficult for us as well. So, this is just one of those things that will not define us, but it is certainly a part of our history that we will never forget. Yes.
Rebecca's been Associated Press. The perhaps unprecedented level of interest in a court case like this in Idaho was matched by an extremely high level of secrecy within the case. The Gonzalez family has said that they're desperate for answers about what happened to their daughter. Do you anticipate most of the court documents being unsealed, or are there things that you will specifically request remain sealed?
As far as the court documents, Judge Hippler has told us that he is going to work with the attorneys to go through every sealed document. Probably most of the documents were sealed for the purpose of protecting against tainting a jury pool. And those documents I would expect would become unsealed. Requests for discovery, various things like that. There are also documents in there that contain very personal, private information regarding victims and families.
I think Sarah.
I expect those likely will not be released under Idaho's protections against what the law calls unwarranted
talking about the
of
Christmas
personal
list.
privacy. I realize that can be frustrating for folks who want to be able to explore this thoroughly, but we have to balance, and the law balances the privacy of the people who have suffered, including the victims who are dead, with giving the public as much information as we responsibly can.
Alex Duggan, the spokesman for you. I'm just wondering, did a lack of knowing the reason or the motive concern you when prepping for trial? Because juries tend to want to explore the motive reason. And also, you as investigators and attorneys grapple with that, because if you can't rationalize something irrational, then how do you continue knowing that you won't get an answer?
Well, I'll tell you from an investigator standpoint, we already realize we often don't get to know that. We want it. We all do. We naturally want that. But the reality is, it's not something that we have to have or that we get. And the reality also is that oftentimes those very things that you're asking about, they're only known to one person. It's the person that commits those crimes. And I think that's probably what we have here.
And I would add that going through this whole investigation, I'd probably say it's easier than it was for Bill's offices. We were focused on a task. We had a task to do, and it was discovering evidence and interviewing folks and that sort of thing. So the motive necessarily doesn't play a part in that, right? Obviously it can, but we were just focused on getting the job done in the correct way as best we could. So.
And from the prosecutor's point of view, yeah, certainly the lack of a clear motive is something that we think about and consider as we're preparing for trial, because we're going to have a jury of 12, ordinary, honest citizens there who are wanting to figure this thing out. But we also, and I've also found that juries tend to follow the law. And even jurors who come in with strong feelings, they tend to follow the law that the judge gives. And there is no element of motive in Idaho law for murder. And so we set that aside as something that we were going to dwell on. Whether there was clear proof of a specific motive, because we knew it wasn't legally required. And practically speaking, we knew it wasn't something that we possessed that we could give to the jury without speculating. And I'm sure as heck not going to stand in front of a bunch of 12 jurors and start speculating. We're going to give them the evidence. And the evidence in this case, what you heard at the time of his guilty plea back on the 2nd, that evidence was compelling, and it showed his guilt without having to worry about motive in a human sense. But thank you for the question.
Did he say anything when he was arrested?
Yeah, so Brett and myself and members of the FBI, we traveled back to Pennsylvania. We were there. And I know they hit on it earlier, but I'd be remiss without talking about the cooperation and the support that we had from them was absolutely incredible. From the time that we got on the ground with the Pennsylvania State Police and with the FBI back there, it was unbelievable. Anything that we needed, they were there to facilitate it. So we helped to shape what that looked like, what the arrest looked like, what took place once they hit the house on the search warrant and he was taken into custody. Brett and I were at another location, a barracks of the Pennsylvania State Police. And then he was brought to us and we conducted an interview with him that night there in Pennsylvania.
Can you talk about what he said?
Yeah. So we went into this interview. We used a lot of influence and guidance from the FBI and their behavioral analysis unit. They helped us a ton in framing our our interview strategy rather. When we spoke to Mr. Kohberger, we kept it pretty surface level to begin with. The idea being get him to speak and keep him speaking. It was pretty surface level. And then when we tried to get into things a bit more detail, he decided to end the interview. That's pretty
As soon as we tried to walk into the purpose of why we're there, which obviously he knows we're detectives from Idaho. So that's when we really started to shut down and they just shut it down. So
what was his demeanor?
Calm, relaxed.
Say very similar to what you see and whenever
like a narcissist.
Next question. Yeah, Mike Baker from the New York Times. I'm wondering if you can talk about Mr. Kohberger's family.
I want that video. Wonder if we'll ever see it. Wonder if we'll ever see that.
I imagine so.
You know what's interesting? Like, people will judge the fact that he didn't speak as a sign of guilt, right? Like, because of the fact he was calm and he ended the interview and probably asked for a lawyer at that point because he knew it was serious, right? He realized that, hang on, this is not a mistake. He probably would have at first thought, oh, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is not real, or it's about something else. And then he realized it's a fucking quadruple homicide.
Yeah.
And shit, okay, no. Like, he's a criminology major, right? Like, you don't talk about that shit. Because they said surface level talking, and then when they realized when it started to get into what it was about, he shut it down. Correct thing to do. Yeah. But people will look at that as, oh, of course, he's guilty, right? Wow. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Love to see it. But it was so cold.
But you've got us briefing tips, input from them along the way.
The only thing I'm really able to talk about is that we didn't get any tips or any evidentiary items from the family. So, add to that?
No.
Just wondering if you ever had any idea of what made Mr. Kohberger take the plea deal in the end?
No.
Okay. Can I ask a follow-up? I know the report.
That was a short answer. You probably have time for a short follow-up.
Can I also ask a follow-up to the investigators? I know there was some reports that there was Kohberger was entire super container out of the house. Did you ever determine what that was?
No, and the belief was in the one surviving roommates in her statement, and that's out there, was that she observed something in his hand when she saw him, but we don't know what it was.
You had an expert who was going to testify about cleaning something off of his work computer, this software expert. Was there any evidence that he had tried to wipe anything from his phone, software-wise?
Yep, come on.
Yeah, and so this kind of goes into the connection to the victims as well. That's a similar question. We had the world's foremost experts on this look into it, and there was evidence that he had used software to wipe many of his devices relatively effectively. So there wasn't much evidence obtained after that.
Including, I think he had two cell phones, or was it just one cell phone?
I think he had one active phone, but I don't remember, so don't quote me if he had more at his home.
So it was more than just the work computer that he had wiped.
Yeah, he regularly used software to try to clear things off. He used VPN on his devices also.
Hey, back here. Evan Fixer with the United Statesman. I'm hoping you can walk us through the decision to hand off the DNA processed on the knife sheath over to Offram Labs, who's contracted by ISP, and then ultimately the FBI takes over that IgG process. And then Prosecutor Thompson, I'm curious if you had concerns about constitutional rights issues based on how the FBI conducted themselves in that portion.
I'll start, and I'll just speak briefly to, when we were notified that we had a DNA from the knife sheath, and it was a single source male DNA, touch DNA, then we knew that we had capabilities to take that further. So you're correct, the Idaho State Police has a contract with Offram Laboratories in Texas. So we flew that over there, and they started the process of working that in what was the beginning of the IgG process. And at some point during it, we were working with the FBI, which we did closely throughout the entire case and every aspect of it. We talked and met with them, and they had further resources and some capabilities that we thought may get us somewhere quicker. And so we made the decision to then shift that to the FBI and continue that process there.
And as to your question about legal concerns, my simple answer is no. I didn't have legal concerns about how the FBI conducted their IGG investigation. I know that was the subject of lengthy, detailed, painfully detailed motions and briefing, and Mr. Nye rose to the occasion and was able to address all of that. But in the end, it's simply no different than sending somebody undercover into any place to gather information.
Oh, of course.
And I'm not concerned about the legality of it. And the judge came through and made the right decision that there was no violation of the defendant's rights or anybody else's rights.
Oh, please. Yes, CH, we had a bit of a read of them at the start of the stream. We haven't been through all of them, obviously. But yeah, there was some funny communication from some jailhouse informants there. Apparently, he looks like a killer. He's a pretty good judge of character, this dude. Yeah. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy, is it? Hi, how are you? Off topic, and I just must go, but I didn't realize Nick and Sean were beefing so hard. No wonder Sean side-eyes my name. Have a nice day. Oh, no, Sean doesn't side-eye you. No way. He doesn't care. He's cool. He's very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are beefing pretty hard. All right. This is a bunch of cope. Is there anything more that was said during this that anyone remembers that's worth paying attention to? Did they actually release any more information? Did they answer anything else? Guys, people who've watched it, is there anything I should know that's going to make me think anything different? I didn't know about the software. I didn't know about that. That was new. Nah, that was it, Scott. Nick is a cuck. Could it have been what he was keeping the bloody knife in? A container. What container?
Oh, he used his mother's Tupperware. I guess he could have been holding a container that he stored his knife in or something.
Right.
Possible, I guess.
I do need to go through the documents properly. So yeah, we've only had a bit of a look at the first one, and see if there's anything of use in there. It bothers me that it's going to be months, probably more like a year, before we see the stuff from the beginning, like from the start of the investigation. So like body cam and interviews from when he was first arrested. And the reason it's going to take that long is because Judge Hippler said he's working backwards through the sealed documents. And fine, that makes sense. He's more familiar with the documents that he knows about. So he'll release the most recent stuff. But yeah, it's going to take quite a while, I think, before we see any of the things from when he was first arrested at the beginning of the investigation. And that's really probably the most relevant, has the most pertinent information about what they had on him, because they wouldn't have found much else afterwards, right? Yeah, if there's anything more that we can find out, it will be from back then. We'll probably, I don't know if we'll get the autopsy medical examiner reports, and whether or not that will tell us whether there was more than one weapon. Whether that makes any difference. There's just so many holes in this. This should have gone to trial. Damn it. If it weren't for the damn death penalty, this probably would have gone to trial, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably,
yeah. And it's another argument against the death penalty. And like there's lots of arguments against the death penalty, but this is a huge argument against the death penalty. If a defendant is bargaining with the state to not be killed in order to not go to trial, that's the next level down. Then, I mean, that's their life that they're bargaining with. And then there is no trial and the evidence doesn't get hashed out. And everybody is left with all these questions. Everybody, including the families, right? Including the families and the rest of society, right? And here is like people living in the area, for example. If I were living in the Moscow area, how could I feel safe with knowing that this person has pled guilty to this crime with so little evidence tying them to it, and that they were bargaining with their life? It just, okay, there could have been more people involved. That, right? Okay, so let's for a moment go, okay, sure. Maybe he did plead guilty and he was involved, guilty, had something to do with it, was there, or it was his knife sheath and he colluded to it. But there are other people who were part of it, because that kind of makes a bit more sense, that it was possible that other people did it. There were other DNA profiles there at the house. There was male blood on the banister in the house. So it just doesn't feel like it's been fully investigated. There's so many questions. And it feels, I know people get mad at me when I compare cases, or when I even mention cases in the same breath, because people get very tied emotionally to different cases that they're involved, that they have followed. But it feels a lot like the end of the Richard Allen case, where it was like, just, that's it now, guys. Just stop talking about it. It's done. He put him over there now, and don't give it any more attention, and don't talk about it anymore, because, you know, he's guilty and we put him there and all your questions are answered, and we don't want to give him any more attention. So just, it's done, and let's all pat ourselves on the back and all good. Yeah, it feels a bit like that. It's like, well, no, there are lots of questions. There's tons. There's so many questions.
Like, who was that heart for that he drew today? I want to know.
Did he draw the heart?
Yes, I think he did. There was a pen right next to it. Looked like the same color.
Ashley drew that for him.
It could be. Maybe it was the girl he met on Tinder.
Oh, Mavka, do you really want me to ask all the questions again?
Where do babies come from? There.
Yeah. It's just, and it goes beyond pure curiosity, Jacqueline. It goes to the heart of the justice system. Things are supposed to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And there was so much doubt. There was so much room for doubt in this. It was like, it was almost implausible that somebody could go in and stab up 4 people and leave nothing of themselves and take nothing of those people with them, right? And also not leave any digital trace of knowing these people existed and the house existed at all, right? So there was just so much missing forensically that it seemed like he needed to be, a magician, kind of like people who called Zach a magician, right? How could he have done that? There's too much missing. And so for him to plea, especially at that point, just after he had some really crucial motions in limine denied, like the third party culprit one. At that point, and he had all of his death penalty options were gone. For him to plea then, it just feels like he was at this rock bottom moment and there was just nothing else. Like he felt like he was going to be found guilty and put to death, and that was it. I disagree. I feel like there was a chance, but it just, I feel like there's more. There's more to this that needs to be investigated. But so many people are just happy to just take his word for it, that to just go, oh well, he said he did it. Well, he didn't even say that much. He just said yes. He said yes. I think he was going to be found guilty, Mavka, because that's what juries do. They think that DNA is it's the gold standard, but it was DNA on an object that wasn't the murder weapon, and that is reasonable doubt in itself. But we saw what happened with Zach and DNA. That wasn't the murder weapon either. In fact, there was no body there. He still got found guilty. So it doesn't take much for people to be convinced. So yeah, I think he probably would have been found guilty. But doesn't mean it wasn't worth a shot. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not going to get into any arguments with anybody about it. That's my opinion, and I love you all in chat as well. As I've said before, if more comes out, I'm so open to hearing about it and changing my opinion. Really am. I'd feel so much better knowing that the right person actually is in prison for the rest of his life, or at least I'd feel better having some inkling that it could be him, because right now it feels very empty. Beautiful Waterfall, I don't see him bragging about anything. There's never been any indication whatsoever that he is someone who brags. If he were, then why haven't we seen any indication of that from him yet? All this stuff about him seeking the limelight and wanting attention, we haven't seen any indication of that from him. And if we had, I would totally agree. But he's not like a Gypsy Rose or anyone like that. He just has no outward, he doesn't exude any sort of self-confidence or anything. He seems so introverted. I would be really shocked if he did an interview. What do you think, Dali?
I haven't seen anything to say that he would do an interview. I think we'll find out more in the next month or two if he wants to speak. But yeah, there's just questions that I have that haven't all been it seems very unlikely that he was able to do it without cutting himself or leaving more of him behind, like blood or something from him behind. That's kind of the thing for me, but
no, but more so in terms of his personality and who he is. Do you think that he's the kind of person who would give an interview? Do you think, because so many people are like, oh, he's gonna come out and interview now, like he won't be able to not get the limelight now, like he won't disappear. We'll hear from Ryan, right? Like people are saying that. What do you think about that?
All I've really seen of his personality is him in court, and he's pretty meek, so I don't see that happening, but I could be wrong.
When you guys say he couldn't have pulled it off, you're basically saying those kids weren't killed. No, not at all. How do you?
I'm saying I have questions about how he did it by himself.
No, absolutely not.
Doing it by himself and that matching the evidence found at the crime scene.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Either he did it or somebody else did.
Yeah, but no. How could he have done it and not left some evidence of himself there, as in his own blood? Because he would have got hurt, right? Yeah. His own blood, his own sweat. He would have left footprints all over the place. He would have dripped blood off himself. Blood splatter would have dripped off the person, his own person. And he would have then brought evidence of them with him. I don't buy that there wouldn't have been evidence of the killer walking from the house, and then whatever he was wearing, and I know that you think he was wearing plastic or something like that. Beautiful waterfall. Sorry if I mixed you up with someone else with that theory, but wearing plastic sheeting or booties, bringing all that with them, not being caught on any cameras in this getup, right? And then bringing all that stuff with him into his car, somehow managing to not drip even a speck of it, and it not getting into the dash, the crevices underneath the seals, underneath the rubber, and then into his house, right? Not into the drywall, under the carpet, nothing, absolutely nothing, right? And then managing to dispose of it so well that, like the law enforcement was saying, they went to all this effort to try and find any trace of it and couldn't find anything. It just seems implausible. And you combine that with there being no digital evidence of him knowing them, knowing where the house is, knowing anything about these people, right? Having any contact with them, having social media connection with them. It's so hard to avoid being traced that it feels implausible. You with me? And someone did say all of those. Someone, of course, someone did all this stuff. But how could it be him? That's where I'm going with it. Of course, someone did it. Of course, someone did it.
Yeah. Anyways.
No, I'm not saying that no one did it. Why would you think I think no one did it? Of course they did it. But
yeah,
that they didn't find the evidence because they weren't looking for it in the right place. That's all. That's all. Oh, Vic, I love you. Hello, you're the best, and your hair's pretty. Oh, I love you too. I love you too. what makes the most sense to me is that your magician would be a guy who dedicated his adult life to studying crime scene investigations, and he'd have the best shot to get rid of evidence. I mean, he could try. He could try. And if, like, maybe there's more that we don't know about BW. Maybe there's more. And I hope there is. I hope there is. But these guys are saying there isn't. They're saying there isn't. It's strange they use his degrees as a way to excuse lack of evidence. He has no professional experience, just a couple classes on crime scenes. We did have 2 people in that house that had several hours to take care of things. I kind of don't really buy that either, Lawcom, because how do you take care of? I guess that when you say take care of things, like what are they going to take care of? Like the place wasn't cleaned up. Like there was blood everywhere. I don't really know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, if there were drugs and things in the house, which they were worried about, they would have got probably rid of that. But I mean, no one would have cared. No one would have cared. Yeah. But yeah, want to go through those documents and have a look at them and see if there's anything of interest in there. I wonder if there's a bunch more interesting observations from fellow inmates. I always love a good snitch. All right. There's some good stuff in there, Scott. Cool. Well, you know that's our specialty, the readings.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, this has been, 2 years of this. Hopefully the families will start to move on now. We'll see. Okay, guys. You can go and continue your conversation in the Discord, maybe. And it's time for the song.
Her name was Ella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Donnie and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803. To the attention, excited utterance. Her cat is staring for me.